So Unit 8, Day 3, we're going to talk about more parallelograms and more specific, the rhombus and the square. So here are some of the properties of the rhombus. If you notice, we still have the same properties as the parallelogram. We have the OOOCD. Opposite sides congruent, opposite sides parallel, opposite angles congruent, consecutive angles are supplementary, and diagonals bisect. So we have all the properties of a parallelogram, and now we're adding 3 more properties. So here's this first one. All 4 sides are congruent with a rhombus. The diagonals are perpendicular, and perpendicular means 90 degrees. So when the diagonals cross, they form a 90-degree angle. The diagonals bisect opposite angles. So the diagonals are going to bisect the angles, and so if an angle is 60 degrees, when the angle bisects it, it'll be 30 degrees each. So we'll get to that. So question number 1, each quadrilateral is a rhombus, so they're telling us that. And so what we want to do is we want to go ahead and fill in given information. So from J to K is 12. From J to N is 7. So basically with a rhombus, we know that all the sides are congruent. So I can go ahead and write in 12, 12, 12. What we also know is that the diagonals bisect. So if this side is 7, then this side is also 7. Something else that we learned, that the diagonals bisect, so that means that in here is a 90-degree angle. So let's just see for now what it is that we can fill in based on this information. Okay, so J to M, that's the side. I got it filled in already, that's 12. J to L, well, that's 7 plus 7, so that's 14. M to N, that's that middle piece, so we're going to have to come back to that. And then M to K is the whole thing. We're going to have to come back to that, since we don't have that figured out yet. Okay. However, what we do know is that, so we know we can slide a triangle out of the rhombus. So J to N to K, if we look at it, we can see that J to K is 12, J to N is 7, and we don't know what this is right here. But we do know that the angles in the middle are 90-degree angles because the diagonals are perpendicular. So I can use Pythagorean's theorem and say a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And I know my legs are 7 and x is equal to 12 squared. So I get 49 plus x squared is equal to 144. So x squared is equal to 95, and therefore x is equal to 9.7. All right? So I'm going to erase this right here. And I'm going to put in here that this is 9.7. So that's what N to K is. And if N to K is 9.7, guess what? M to N is 9.7. And M to K, which is the whole thing, is going to be 9.7 plus 9.7, which is 19.4. Okay. So we have to use the properties of a parallelogram and the additional properties of a rhombus, and we can figure it out. So the goal is to start filling in what you know, and what you don't know, leave it blank and go to what you do know. And then we'll try to see if we can incorporate Pythagorean. All right, so we are told that it is a rhombus right here. Find all the missing information. Well, let's see. All of this is angles, so it's a little small for me. So I'm going to recopy it here. Now, what I do know I'm going to put in blue, for a rhombus is that the diagonals are 90 degrees. I do know all the sides are the same. I am told that this angle over here is 38 degrees. So I know if it's 38 degrees that the alternate interior one is also 38 degrees. I'm also told in my properties that the diagonals bisect the angle. So this is also 38 and this is also 38. So what else I know is that this total for this whole angle is 38 plus 38, which is 76 degrees. Opposite angles are congruent, so this whole angle over here is 76 degrees. Now, based on my properties for a parallelogram, consecutive angles are supplementary. So if I take 180 and subtract 76, what do I get? 104. So what I do know is that this whole angle over here is 104. Well, if it's bisected, then that means this one is 52 and this one is also 52 and this one is 52 and this one is 52. So with that information, I should be able to go back in and answer all the questions from problem number 4. Pause and do that now. Okay. Problem number 9. Okay, so when we look at problem number 9, we're told that it is a rhombus. So we can go with all the properties of a parallelogram, also the additional properties of a rhombus. Well, the diagonals bisect the angles, so those two angles are going to be congruent. So I can set that up. 5x plus 1 is equal to 8x minus 20. The goal is to get all your variables on one side and all your numbers on the other side. So once we do that, we come up with x is equal to 7. So are we done? No, it says find the measure of angle FED. So F to E to D, let me show you this, is this entire angle right here. It's the entire angle. It's not part of it, it's the whole thing. So when I plug in 7 back into this angle right here, let's see what we get. All right, so when I plug it in, I get 36. So a part of this angle right here is 36, which means the other angle right here is 36, which means the total angle is 72, which means the total angle over here is 72. We also know that the angle right next to it is going to be supplementary. So if that angle is 72, then this entire angle is 108, and this entire angle over here is 108 degrees. So the measure of angle FED is 108 degrees. So next we move on to the properties of a square. Well, check it out. All of these are the properties of a parallelogram. So you see your parallelogram. Oops. So you see your OOOCD. Then you see your properties with a rectangle, which is 4 right angles, and the diagonals are congruent. And now we are adding to the square all those properties plus 4 sides are congruent. Diagonals are also perpendicular. Diagonals bisect opposite angles with the rhombus. And here we go. And we need to add that the diagonals are congruent. So here we go. We're told it's a square. A to D is 11. So we fill in what we know. So if that's 11, this is 11, this is 11. Check it out. We know that a square, the corners are 90-degree angles. So if I pull out a triangle, check it out. This is 11, this is 11. And I can figure out what the diagonal is because this is the hypotenuse. So 11 squared plus 11 squared equals C squared. 121 plus 121 equals C squared. This is 242 is equal to c squared. And so c is going to be equal to 15.6. If you have your calculator and you use it right now, c is also equal to 11 times the square root of 2. And there's a pattern there. You see the sides of a square, 11, 11. So then the hypotenuse is 11 square roots of 2. So we can use that information to fill in everything. Problem number 6. When you're done, show it to your teacher. We're going to take a look at this problem right here. It says the figure is a square and s to w is 2x plus 13. Pretty small, so let me make it bigger. So s to w is 2x plus 13. W to u is 8x minus 41. Well, guess what? Diagonals bisect each other. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this equal to each other. And we are going to solve for x. And we're going to see what we get. Which is x is equal to 9. We're not done. It says to find VT. So we're going to have to go back in and plug it in for VT to see what we get and show that one to your teacher as well.